One news after another is pouring out like a horn of abundance 4 minutes ago. Moscow Times gives information that Finland suspected China of involvement in the explosion of a gas pipeline in the Baltic Sea. Finnish investigators suspect a Chinese vessel, the new Polar Bear, of involvement in the explosion of a Baltic connector gas pipeline in the Baltic Sea. This is reported by the National Bureau of Investigation. In the course of preliminary investigation, the Finnish police found out that the route of the Chinese vessel, new Polar Bear, which is flying under the Hong Kong flag, corresponds to the time and place of the explosion of the gas pipeline. The investigation is going to cooperate with the Chinese authorities to find out the possible role of the vessel in the incident. A representative of the Finnish police in China is dealing with this issue on the spot. Also, as part of the investigation, a heavy object was found near the damaged gas pipeline. It is located at a significant depth in the clayey seabed, and at the moment it cannot be identified. In addition, after analyzing the data obtained during the technical investigation, the investigators confirmed that the damage to the gas pipeline was caused by external mechanical force. An important step in the investigation will be an attempt to lift the heavy object from the sea for further analysis. On the night of October 8th, a leak was found on the Finnish-Estonian Baltic Connector gas pipeline, accompanied by a damage to the underwater cable between Estonia and Finland. The damage occurred in the economic zone of Finland, and the place of the damage to the cable is in the Estonian economic zone. Experts say that after the repair, the gas pipeline can be put into operation in April of next year. All efforts are being made to deprive Europe of gas, to raise gas prices. Who benefits from this? You see, the Chinese ship was suspected. And again, when? On the day of Putin's birth, October 7th, 08. That is, on October 7th, the act was committed. It was discovered at night. It was blown up in the afternoon, and it was discovered at night. On October 7th, on the day of Putin's birth, the Russian police have been transferred to an intensified regime due to the increasing risk of pro-Palestinian protests. Police officers in the regions of Russia are being transferred to an intensified service regime due to the increasing risk of pro-Palestinian protests. According to sources, such measures have been introduced in almost all areas of the Russian Federation, following Moscow and the Moscow region, where they were announced the day before. Police officers are being transferred to a 12-hour working day. They are forbidden to leave their regions. The center of anti-Israeli protests in Russia was Dagestan, where the police on October 17th had already dispersed several actions in support of Palestine. In Kazab-Yurt, participants hung a Palestinian flag on a tank monument. The police pushed them away from the square, but did not dare to arrest them. Protests were surrounded by various countries of the Middle East and the Arab states. After the attack on a hospital in the Gaza sector, protesters under anti-Israeli slogans took to the streets in the cities of Lebanon, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Egypt, Tunisia, and in Turkey, where protesters bombed McDonald's. In response, the police had to use tear gas. Increasing confrontation is also noticeable in Western countries. including Germany, where clashes between protesters and the police took place. In Berlin, unknown people tried to set the synagogue on fire, and in other places, demonstrators attacked police officers and set the truck on fire. Pro-Palestinian actions also took place in Great Britain and France. And in the United States, protesters were able to penetrate the Capitol building. But this was not the first time this happened at the elections, when Trump lost to Biden. After all, Russia supports Hamas. Why does Russia need to transfer all security forces to a tough working regime? To a 12-hour working day, to intensification? Intensification is being introduced. In what way? Well, this is now beautifully called anti-Palestinian or pro-Palestinian. The movement of protest action is pro-Palestinian. The point is not that it is simply pro-Palestinian. The flag was raised, the flag was passed. The point is in the pogroms that can occur. Russia has already experienced this. Germany has also experienced this once. I believe that today, Russian security forces are concerned with this particular problem. This is a serious problem that has arisen in Russia in a completely unexpected way. What do you think about this, friends? This is scary. This is not just about throwing slogans and shouting, "We are for those, we are for others." This is too serious. Perhaps this will not happen. But history, genetics, against the background of history, works in such a way. You know, the fear and the pain are felt. Most likely, this is what the security forces are afraid of and expect, that such a thing can start in Russia. Then it will be scary. I can't even imagine how it will all happen. Neighbor to neighbor, civil war, civil war. It is difficult to imagine what provocateurs can come up with, who will infiltrate the masses. I am Tanya Karatsuba, Shihid Burhan, October 20, 2023.